Basking in the glorious Gothenburg sunshine, the majestic Ullevi Stadium stands tall and proud. It's one of Europe's most iconic stadiums and has played host to World Speedway finals and the GP Series alike. Our visit here for round 3 marks the move into the gladiatorial arenas and onto the temporary surfaces for our riders. The track's the biggest we'll see this season, and although sometimes controversial, it guarantees exciting and spectacular action. That's not to say we've been short on shock and awe in our opening 2 bouts. Round 1 in Prague saw the new kids on the block, Freddie Lindgren and Emil Sayfutdinov, go toe-to-toe. The Russian delivering the knockout blow to grab victory in his debut GP. Leszno in Poland was next on the hit list for the European Grand Prix, and it was the old guard back on duty. A rejuvenated Jason Crump swept aside Hancock, Jonsson and Gollop and cruised to his first win since round 8 last year. The 2-times world champion has certainly done a lot of soul-searching since then and has definitely regained the desire to be a winner. He's the only rider to have made both finals in the opening rounds, and that form puts him ahead of the chasing pack for the 2009 World Crown. The 22-point trade from Leszno pushes him ahead of Andreas Jonsson in the standings by 9. Greg Hancock's 4th on the night leaves him sitting on equal points with Sayfutdinov, whilst Thomas Gollop's 2nd place has pushed him up to 5th. It's been a long time since Jason's worn the yellow jacket, back at the start of 2007, when he was defending the title.
Yeah, it has been a long time, and I'm really happy that I've got it back on, and you know, as long as I can keep it on all the way through to the end of October, I'll be pretty happy.
So the smile's back on the face of the man from down under, but what's been the stimulus and given him a new lease of life?
You know, I'm looking forward to every meeting I race in at the moment. I feel younger, I feel enthusiastic again, and you know, you see with different sports people at different times of their career, it's hard to get that motivation to go the final couple of yards, and just at the moment I feel like I really want to push. You know, I'm 34 this year, and I definitely want to have one more World Championship before I finish. You know, now 2 meetings a week, Sweden, Poland and the Grand Prix every second weekend seems to suit me really well.
This is the 5th time the SGP Series has visited Gothenburg, and its place on the calendar looks set to continue with a new 5-year deal being signed. And what a destination it is, the largest seaport of all the Nordic countries. Sweden's 2nd biggest city is steeped in a seafaring history. With its museums, parks, entertainment and attractions, any traveller should make it their first port of call. The passionate fans turned out in force for a great night's Speedway on a perfect night for the sport. This is the first Super Prix of the year, which means the winner takes home double the prize money. Will the series leader Jason Crump cash in again, or will one of the local boys secure the Swedish krona? In Heat 1, Crump was beaten to the first turn and 3 points by newly crowned British champion Chris Harris, who was clearly pumped up. Heat 2 saw Seb Ulemek enjoy a tapes-to-flag victory. Heat 3 and Andreas Jonsson was in red, but defending champion Nicky Pedersen was back on form and swept across from the outside. Rickardsson watched his man Lindback finish 2nd. It was Hans Andersen out in Heat 4 up against Fredrik Lindgren and Gregor Valacek, but it was Norwegian Pole Rune Holter who took the victory. After an encouraging start, Lindback was out again in Heat 5 and picked up another 2nd place. He timed his move to perfection to pass Ulemek. Holter won his 2nd successive race in impressive style. Not surprisingly, all smiles from the man who won at this venue last year. And words of encouragement for Lindback from the legend himself. Heat 6 was initially led by Lee Adams, but then Greg Hancock got all out of shape and bit the dust. He stormed off to the pits, and the grin had certainly lost his smile. At the same time, the American became a little bit camera shy. In the restart, Hans Andersen was first out of the gate, but a determined Andreas Jonsson, out to impress the Swedish fans, stormed to victory. Andersen returned to the pits with a lot to think about on just 2 points. Heat 7, and it was Scott Nichols who made a dreadful start. Lindgren hit a rut and lost his shape, allowing Thomas Gollop into 2nd place. But it was all smiles in the Jason Crump camp after 3 more superb points. For Nichols, no smiles and no points. Nicky Pedersen was out again in heat number 8 and once again out in front, rekindling memories of the form which took him to the title last year. So the table after 2 rides each, Pedersen and Holter unbeaten on 6 apiece, Crump on 5, and Antonio Lindback makes it into the top 8. But further down the field, a lot of the big names like Gollop, Anderson, Adams and Saifudinov have work to do, as well as Greg Hancock.
Greg, a very nasty moment in the first lap of Heat 6 for you.
Yeah, I guess it could have been a lot worse, but I escaped, with a few bruises, and I'm okay. So, what can I say? I think I just made a little mistake there and hit that hole all wrong, and you saw the rest.
Yeah, well, a very frustrated, very angry man after that.
Yeah, exactly. It's a world championship, and you don't want to lose points, let alone be on the ground and get excluded. So, especially when it's your own fault. I know I got to pull myself together now if I want to be in the final or semifinal first of all, and I feel good enough to do it. So it's just to go out there and win some heats.
Winning Heat 9 was Thomas Gollop from the outside after Chris Harris lost control. The pole swept through into second and then went all the way around the outside of Lee Adams in superb style. Adams then continued to go backwards and was passed by Gregor Valacek for the 2 points. Chris Harris suffered a second successive last place. But there's no doubt Thomas has got his night back on track, Kelvin.
5 points for Gollop in the last 2 rides. He'll be much happier about things now.
The reigning world champion Nicky Pedersen out here in red then. A big heat number 10. What a lineup. Pedersen off the inside. Seb Ulemek going off gate 2 in blue, back in the GP Series this year. Freddie Lindgren, the home hero, off gate 3 in white. And Greg Hancock, only 1 point so far. He's off the outside in the yellow helmet colour. Desperate for points here. Heat number 10. What can Hancock do off the outside? He has made an absolute belter. He sweeps into the lead with Nicky Pedersen second. Third place is Lindgren right now. And trailing at the back there is Seb Ulemek. But watch out for Freddie Lindgren in white.
What a wonderful move from Freddie Lindgren round the outside. Fantastic stuff. A brilliant start from Hancock from away from gate 4. Desperately needed. Terrific stuff going on for second place. Pedersen back up the inside into second place. Super Speedway.
Yeah, they're trading blows here as Lindgren comes back up the inside. And now is challenging Hancock up the front as well. Hancock has really got a tiger on his tail. And this Ullevi crowd are making plenty of noise. And
very close indeed as they come off turn 2 there. Lindgren working the inside brilliantly. Once again, Lindgren round the inside, fires himself to the front. Fantastic Speedway out front. Hancock back into the battle again.
What a race it is here, Kelvin, with Hancock now showing all his experience, all his knowledge and all his track craft as he holds the line. There will be one last assault from fast Freddie Lindgren. Is he fast enough?
Fantastic Speedway there. Hancock left himself vulnerable but just snatched it on the line. Terrific effort from Lindgren though.
Speedway out of the top draw. Heat number 10. The official result sees a win for Greg Hancock, but only just over this young man, Fredrik Lindgren. Third place, the world champion Nicky Pedersen, who was in the mix early on, and Seb Ulemek trails him in the back. That's more like it.
Yeah, happier now for Greg Hancock. A disappointing start, but 3 points on the board from that one. Tough, but he'll be happy.
Antonio Lindback out here in blue in heat number 11, the wild card, and great to see him back in top form. Kenneth Pierre off the inside in red then from Denmark. Lindback's off 2 in blue. Jason Crump, gate 3 in white, the series leader. And Hans Andersen of Denmark going off the outside in the yellow helmet. Tony Ricardson, a true legend, looking on for his man Antonio Lindback in blue. Heat number 11 it is then. Away from the start, Pierre makes a good one on the inside. Anderson comes wide in yellow. Lindback is relegated to the back with Crump coming round. It's all very tight. Kenneth Pierre gets some drive and is the early leader here. Anderson will go wide. Coming on the inside.
Lindback.
Where did he find that from?
From last to first and now back into second. Brilliant move from Lindback. Once again, Hans Andersen charging up the inside. Pierre's out front. Now Lindback chasing so very hard in second place. Great Speedway.
Well, he really is a revitalised character, Antonio Lindback. And now Crump up the inside. We thought there may be more passing in this race yet. You cannot take your eyes off it. You can throw a blanket over all 4 of them. Look at Crump in white. Oh, so very tight. Lindback holds the line with Pierre in the lead. This is terrific Speedway.
Oh, Pierre's come so wide. mistake from Pierre. Lindback capitalises round the inside. Brave stuff from the young Swede. Terrific.
And now he's kicking on and making the race his own. Antonio Lindback, the rider in blue, the wild card, will send the fans wild in heat number 11. A magnificent win for Antonio Lindback, and the roar of the crowd is obvious. He's raised the roof of the Ullevi Stadium. Magnificent stuff from the Swede, and 3 points for him. Second place there in heat number 11 went to Kenneth Pierre. Third place, Jason Crump, and at the back was Hans Andersen, who did well early on. And a great win for Antonio Lindback.
Wow, what a ride from Antonio Lindback. Missed the start completely, but battled his way to the front. There was toing and froing all the way through. Tony Ricardson in his corner, delighted as well. Sensational performance so far from Lindback.
Well, the new sensation in the Speedway world is without doubt Emil Saifutinov, and he was in action in heat number 12 in the blue helmet colour here. And Andreas Jonsson, the super Swede, in the white helmet colour, he was involved in the action as well. A close brush there for Jonsson with Saifutinov. Scott Nichols of Great Britain in contention at this particular stage, but Saifutinov always looking promising, always holding the line and looking pretty comfortable. But Jonsson is made of stern stuff. He goes out wide and closes the gap on Emil Saifutinov as Nichols goes to the back. But Saifutinov pulled through for 3 precious points, and a big result for the young Russian.
Yeah, super stuff from the young Russian there. 5 points from his last 2 after failing to score in his first one. First time on a temporary track, of course, and he's looking good.
Well, Antonio Lindback going well, and there you see level at the top of the leaderboard with Nicky Pedersen and Rune Holter, Crump and Jonsson on 6 points, and then Gollum, Saifutinov and Lindgren clear-cut in the top 8 after 3 rides apiece.
Andreas, a third, a first, a second. It's been a long night already for you.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's we started off not so good. It took a couple of heats to get going. You know, we changed bikes, we changed the setup, and now I feel pretty comfortable out there. It's getting better from the start and a lot better on the track as well. The track is really, how to say, really slick with a lot of ruts and different lines out there. So, you know, you need a bit of luck and you need to catch the right ruts to get forward.
We've had 10 race winners in the first 12 heats. If you think your way around the track, which is going to be very important tonight, you can find a quick line.
Definitely, you know, if you don't hit the ruts right, then it can be, you know, a disaster instead of a good turn. So.
Yes, interesting stuff there from Andreas Jonsson, and this will be interesting, the gate stats. The inside 2 gates looking good, and the outside better. Don't want that gate 3 at the moment in white. You're struggling out of there.
Well, one man who's not struggling is Nicky Pedersen, the reigning champion, looking determined as always.
Yeah, very much so. 7 points from his opening 3, and this man, with Tony Ricardson in his corner, Antonio Lindback, also looking very good this evening, very calm in there.
But how far can he progress in this meeting tonight? Find out with us after the break. Welcome back to the FIM Meridian Lift Swedish Grand Prix at the Ullevi Stadium in Gothenburg. The fans enjoying themselves. Antonio Lindback enjoying himself. It's been a great night for him. And Nicky Pedersen looking to add to his 7 points all told. Heat 13, Scott Nichols going off the inside in red. Nicky Pedersen of Denmark, gate 2 in blue. Also from Denmark, Hans Andersen off gate 3. Chris Harris off the outside in yellow. 2 Brits, 2 Danes. Heat number 13. And what can Nicky Pedersen do off gate number 2 as Ricardson and Lindback watch on eagerly here? We prepare for the green light and the tapes to rise. And Hans Andersen and Nicky Pedersen level almost going into that first turn. Andersen gets the drop though, and coming around the outside is Chris Harris, and Nicky Pedersen somehow managed to get the bike under control. Harris now will go around the outside and try and get the better of Hans Andersen. But now the man in yellow, Chris Harris, is hanging on under pressure from Nicky Pedersen. Andersen the leader.
Fantastic stuff from Hans Andersen. Hasn't enjoyed the best of fortune so far this evening, but he's out front. Chris Harris showing good speed in second place, keeping the world champion back in third place. All of a sudden, Scott Nichols up the inside, putting pressure on the world champion for that third place. But out front, you've got to give a lot of credit. Oh, that's a mistake from Andersen. Can Harris capitalise? He's there. Oh, neck and neck down the back straight. Anderson stamps his authority once again.
Both these riders need the points desperately. Anderson in white, Harris in yellow. Anderson is just about hanging on here, with Harris all over him as Anderson hits a rut and almost went square, manages to hang on, and Harris is absolutely all over. Hans Anderson trying hard, working it hard, winding on the throttle. Hans Anderson shows great character to pull off the victory with Chris Harris all over him. They'll compare notes, I'm sure, about the ruts there in heat number 13. And it's a victory for Hans Anderson with Chris Harris second. From Great Britain, of course. Nicky Pedersen manages a point. Still on course for a semi-final place. That man is not, though, from Great Britain, Scott Nichols. But what a ride from that man.
Well, that was super stuff from Hans Anderson. He's had a disappointing night so far. But I tell you what, here he makes a fantastic start away from gate 3. We saw there on the stats of the gates earlier on how poor it was gate 3. So that was a remarkable effort for him. And Nicky Pedersen getting out of shape there, coming off turn 2 for the first time. But Hans Anderson here rides a stormer. Chris Harris charged really hard in second place and put him under a lot of pressure. And for a moment, he very nearly sneaked up the inside. Good stuff from the Brit. But Hans Anderson moving on to 5 points, needed them. But he'll be feeling better about things now.
Yes, 5 points gives him a chance of getting into the semi-finals. He moves into the top 8, but he's ridden a race more, of course, than those around him. Pedersen, the leader, on 8 points so far, with Lindback and Halter on 7, getting very, very tight for the cut-off for the top 8. And Scott Nichols, well, you have to feel sympathy for that man. He is absolutely shot confidence-wise, and quite clearly is having a nightmare. Heat number 14, Kenneth Bier, a fine start from the rider in white, but he came under pressure from Greg Hancock in the red helmet colour. Hancock, of course, won his last outing, but Kenneth Bier is very capable and very quick, even though he came under pressure from Hancock. And Halter got the better of Hancock with a fine swoop around the outside of the bottom 2 turns. Bier, though, a big win for the day. Hancock knows that there's still a little bit of work to do for him in his final outing. Heat 15 and Andreas Jonsson, the local hero, out here again. Jason Crump in blue looking superb as Valacek lost control in the early stages of that one. Jonsson, though, on course for a semi-final place, knew that he didn't have to do anything silly. Jason Crump looking very, very smooth and assured, but Jonsson still wound it on and showed great determination and a fine pass in one of the races of the night so far. Celebration time for the Swedes, and Jonsson knows he's almost there. Top of the leaderboard then, Andreas Jonsson, 9 points so far with Rune Halter. Pedersen and Crump on 8, Bier and Lindback 7. And look how close it is for a place in the top 8 with several riders on 5 points so far. Heat number 16, and Antonio Lindback out here again then. And he has been an absolute sensation so far tonight. With Emil Seiferthenhoff, the battle of the young guns here alongside Fredrik Lindgren in yellow, the new generation of GP superstars, with one of the old boys, Lee Adams, and I'm sure he won't mind me calling him that. Lindback off the inside in red, Lee Adams gate 2 in blue, Seiferthenhoff 3, Lindgren 4. It is a mouth-watering lineup, Kel.
Yeah, tasty lineup here without question. Lindback's been going great guns. Seiferthenhoff is really flying high so far tonight. Which way is it going to go?
Seiferthenhoff in white gets off to an absolutely superb start. Hit the rut and went square. Lindback will put him under pressure. And now Lindgren is third in yellow. Lee Adams trailing off at the back. But Emil Seiferthenhoff from Russia coming under pressure from Lindback now. Lindgren, don't count him out. He will wind it all on. But Seiferthenhoff is looking pretty good here.
Yeah, once again he fired himself out of gate 3. He got a little bit out of shape around the first corner and hung on to it coming off of turn 2. Lindback was there, but he couldn't take advantage. Seiferthenhoff's got so much speed out front. It's terrific to see Lindback chasing hard with Lindgren in third place. And the veteran out the back, Lee Adams, is nowhere to be seen.
What a fairy tale it would be if the 19-year-old was to win tonight. That'd be 2 wins in 3 GPs. His first one on a temporary track, of course. And what a fairy tale it would be if the man in second place, Antonio Lindback, was to win the Swedish GP in Gothenburg. And that, of course, would complete a remarkable recovery for a man who's seemed lost to the sport. Lindback second, Lindgren third. The lead, though, is with Emil Seiferthenhoff from Russia. And what a superb win! And a comfortable win in the end, which which doesn't tell the true story of the race, but he won it by some distance in the end, and full credit to the young Russian, Emil Sayfutdinov. 3 big points to him, on his way through to the semi-finals, don't worry about that. Lindback looking good as well, 2 points to him. Lindgren still has a bit of work to do, 3rd place for him, and Lee Adams trailing in at the back.
Well, what a performance from the young Russian once again. Lee Adams, of course, struggling out there this evening, really finding conditions very difficult. But this man out of gate 3, absolutely sensational. Terrific start round that first corner, bucking and rearing. He hangs on to the bike. He just about covers the move from Lindgren up the inside. But Sayfutdinov, you've got to say, his bike is working brilliantly out there. It is difficult, but he hasn't worried about conditions at all. Moving on to 8 points, back-to-back wins. He's well and truly involved now.
Yes, part of the new generation of GP stars. Lee Adams, perhaps his time may be coming to an end, and it certainly is tonight. But what a race that was from the new generation with Lindback, Sayfutdinov and Lindgren. Jonsson leads the way with Halter and Lindback. Sayfutdinov in there as well. It really is great to see the future of Speedway on show tonight.
Tony, 4 rides so far for Antonio tonight, 9 very solid points.
Yeah, you know, he's been riding fantastic, you know, and it was actually a little bit disappointed he couldn't win the last race, but I was just happy that he still have that attitude, and he's still very pumped, so I hope we can go all the way tonight.
1 ride to go tonight, another gate 1. He's got a great chance of really getting a good pick in the semi-final.
Yeah, we hope so, you know, and as long as he can keep focused and keep riding like he's doing, I'm very pleased.
As the sun sets in Gothenburg over this big crowd, Ollie Olsen, the race director, watches on. The semi-finalists to be decided after the break. Welcome back to the FIM Meridian Lift Swedish Grand Prix in the Ullevi Stadium, Gothenburg, and this is the business end of the meeting. This is where the semi-finalists will be decided. Heat number 17, and a couple of these riders desperate for points going into this race. Chris Harris off the inside is one of them, 5 points so far. Kenneth Pierre looking good on 7, he's off gate 2 but needs a point here. Fredrik Lindgren, he'll be desperate for points, 6 so far, he's off gate 3. And Andreas Jonsson off the outside in yellow, surely with 1 foot in the semi-finals already on 9, as Hans Andersen and Scott Mickles watch on. Scott no doubt wondering what might have been once again tonight, but heat 17, Lindgren in white, desperate for points, but a movement at the start, they're away, and Kenneth Pierre has made an absolutely superb start off too. Lindgren now will work hard, the Ullevi crowd are desperate for him to succeed. Chris Harris is 3rd, Andreas Jonsson trailing at the back, and look at Lindgren here, working it hard, he's going to pressurise Pierre all the way.
It is indeed. What a brilliant start though from Kenneth Pierre out of gate 2. Really needs the points. Lindgren up the inside, charging hard. He needs at least 2 points to be sure of a semi-final spot. Jonsson now gets himself into 3rd place after a disappointing opening couple of laps. But look at the action out front. Lindgren up the inside with Kenneth Pierre, neck and neck down the start and finish straight. Pierre makes a mistake. Lindgren into the lead. He got a feel for Kenneth Pierre there, made a vital mistake. Jonsson into 2nd place. Unbelievable stuff at the front.
The Swedish fans celebrate in style because that one move from Pierre where he lost it allowed the Swedish duo through, and this will be enough for Fredrik Lindgren to reach the semi-finals in his home country. He's top scored here last year. He's heading to the semi-finals. He's left it late, but he's there, and listen to the roar around the Ullevi Stadium. Lindgren the winner. Jonsson will go through on 12 big points. That was just what the Swedes wanted to see. Lindgren, the young man, wins the race with Jonsson 2nd. 3rd place there went to Kenneth Pierre, but a sympathy for him made that slip, and Chris Harris is on his way back to Great Britain after failing to score. Big ride from that man.
Fabulous stuff from Lindgren here, because it looked like Kenneth Pierre was going to hang on to the win. Good start initially from Pierre, holds that inside line, rides that rut and makes it work for him. But unfortunately, as the race unfolds, he just can't hang on for long enough. Lindgren's there ready to pounce, and he hits the front, picks up a big 3 points. Pierre doesn't look too unhappy. He'd be frustrated. He might just sneak in, but terrific stuff from the Swedes.
Yes, 8 points may be enough for Pierre, but look what it means to Lindgren. He's up there in 4th place now after that massive win. Jonsson leads the way, and with Halter in 2nd place now, with the battle for the top 8 very much on. And here is Antonio Lindback. So far, so good for him. What a comeback it's been to Grand Prix Speedway. And he goes off the inside in red here. Greg Hancock goes off gate number 2 in the blue helmet colour. Scott Nicholls of Great Britain off gate 3 in white. And Gregor Vanacek going off the outside in the yellow helmet.
Well, what a race this is. You've got to say that Lindback's probably in, Crump just keeping an eye on proceedings, but the pressure's on that man there, Greg Hancock, desperate for points. He's got to come good now.
Tapes rise, and who will get to that first turn? The man in blue, Greg Hancock, looking assured. Just lost it slightly as Lindback now closes the gap, and look at Vanacek in yellow as Nicholls trails off at the back. The lead is with Hancock. Lindback will wind it on and really put the pressure on. Vanacek coming on strong yet again, and what a ride that is from the man in yellow.
Fantastic stuff from Vanacek. He's gone too wide. That allows Lindback up the inside, back in the second spot. Oh, Hancock's got problems. Oh, that's such terrible luck for the American there. Something's gone wrong down the back straight. Not quite sure what it is. That allows Lindback to hit the front. Got a feel for Hancock because he was well and truly in control. Good news though for Lindback. He's out front. He's going to pick up another 3 points.
Looks like a puncture for Greg Hancock. That win would have been enough for him to have been in contention for a semi-final place, surely. But Lindback is in the lead now and looking comfortable and looking set fair to go into the semi-finals in some style. Sympathy for Hancock for sure, but the lead is with Lindback. He's still being pushed by Vanacek late on in this meeting. Heat number 18 it is, but Lindback is just about to hang on. And again, it's celebration time for the Swedes here in Gothenburg. A magnificent effort all night from Lindback. Sympathy for Hancock, but what a ride from the wild card. Lindback, the race winner. Second place there then went to Gregor Vanacek, a real strong effort from the pole. Third place to Scott Nicholls, and Greg Hancock suffering that puncture and fails to make the semi-final cut.
Oh, you're dead right, Nigel. It was a puncher. That is desperate for the American when he was out front, and that would have got him into the semi-finals. A super start from him away from gate 2 initially. You see him right in the rut there, the bike leaping forward, but he hangs on to the lead with Lindback charging so hard round the inside. Vanacek round the outside. Hancock's now in control. Vanacek has made his way round the outside of Lindback. Lindback then darts back to the inside, but you can see there, as they're coming off turn 2 on the second time, he's got problems. Lindback, though, he won't care. He hit the front, picked up a valuable 3 points, and 12 points. That's a terrific effort.
Well, for a wild card, he has put on a magnificent display. And here's the leaderboard. Lindback tops that leaderboard. What a fairy tale story it is. Jonsson is second with Holter and Lindgren. The young Swedes doing the business tonight. So Futenhoff is there as well with a race to go. Pedersen, Crump, Bier, all on 8 points. Heat number 19 sees Jason Crump and Nicky Pedersen. The clash of the night, potentially.
Yeah, very much so. Greg Hancock, you've got to feel for him. It's been a desperate night for him. He worked so hard there, and to get a puncher when he was out front, that really, it just shows you how cruel it can be sometimes out there.
Hancock on his way home then, packing up in the pits already. Heat number 19 it is. And just look at the inside 2 gate positions. Crump and Pedersen, Holter off 3, and Lee Adams off the outside as well.
Yeah, Lee Adams has struggled tonight. He really has found it difficult. Holter's doing great stuff. Of course, won his first Grand Prix here last year, so he knows how to get around here. Pedersen and Crump on the inside there, the big guns. Keep an eye out for them.
The clash of the heavyweights, heat number 19, and Crump has made a dream start. And Pedersen there just looked as though there was a bit of a collision.
Oh,
Pedersen comes up the inside.
Oh, brilliant move from Nicky Pedersen up the inside there. Looked like Crump had got it all under control, but he just drifted a bike length off the inside and fired himself to the front. Really, Holter there sniffing around in third place, inside, outside. He goes to the inside. Crump's gone backwards. Oh, that's going to get tight coming down the back straight. Can Crump get up the inside? Nah, can't quite get there. Good stuff, though, for the world champion out front. Crump, oh, what a race.
Yes, you just can't take your eyes off it, Kelvin. Pedersen has that lead. Crump in second place now, returning the compliment on Rune Holter. Lee Adams well adrift at the back. His night is rapidly drawing to an end, but Nicky Pedersen is looking set fair here up front with the lead, and 3 points of Pedersen here would put him right up there going into the semi-finals. Have they settled for what they've got now, these 3, we wonder, or will Holter wind it on and try and pass Crump? At the moment, though, they're pretty spaced out, and it looks as though Pedersen has done enough. He's heading through to the semi-finals as Crump tried one more twist of the throttle late on, but Pedersen is through, Crump is through, and the semi-finals are shaping up beautifully. Pedersen the race winner then, the reigning champion. Double world champion Jason Crump second. Third place, a brave ride from Rune Holter, and trailing in at the back, a disappointing night for that man, Lee Adams.
Well, Nicky Pedersen's showing all the why he is the world champion, because he had 2 disappointing rides prior to this, 2 third places, and just when it was needed, he comes up with a fabulous ride. Super stuff from Crump initially away from the tapes. He makes it, and it looks like he's got it under control, but he just drifts away from those ruts on the inside, and Pedersen's brave. He sticks it right down on the white line and fires himself to the front as they come off turn 2 on the opening lap. But you've got to give a lot of credit also to Rune Holter and Crump. They battle so very hard. Holter around the inside there early on in the race, and he just then squeezes up as they go back into turn 3. But Pedersen showing plenty of character out front, stamps his authority on the race, 11 points, safely into the semis.
And points to that number 1 race jacket as world number 1. Will he be world champion again come October? Here's how they stand going into Heat 20. Lindback the leader, Pedersen and Jonsson on 11, with Crump and Holter on 10. And the battle for the top 8 looking pretty clear-cut at the moment. But look at 15th, Lee Adams, 3 points, his worst score since the GP went back to 16 riders in 2005. A poor night for Lee. Heat number 20, Emil Sayfutdinov in yellow, well, the young sensation was out here again, and it took an early lead. But there was drama as Hans Andersen and Seb Ulemek came together. Andersen was very apologetic afterwards because of that incident. Thankfully, both riders were able to get up and walk away, but it was Andersen who was disqualified from the restart. When they did get back underway, Sayfutdinov was there again, a real test of character for the youngster, despite being taken wide by the old master, Tomasz Golub, and Ulemek in contention early on. But Sayfutdinov was magnificent. 3 more points for him, straight through to the semi-finals without too many problems at all. So the top 8 now known: Lindback, Sayfutdinov, Pedersen, Jonsson, Holter, Crump, Lindgren and Bier. It's clear-cut, the top 8 all there and heading through to the semi-finals with some big names like Golub, Hancock and Adams all missing out on the semi-finals. Lindback taking gate 1 in the semi-final then, with Andreas Jonsson going for gate 2, Crump off 3 and Lindgren going off the outside.
Yeah, slightly surprised to see Sayfutdinov coming off gate 3. Pedersen off gate 1, Holter off the outside and Bier off gate 2.
So the semi-finals shaping up nicely. Find out who goes through to the final after the break. Welcome back to the FIM Meridian Lift Swedish Grand Prix in the Ullevi Stadium, Gothenburg. We've reached the semi-final stage, and the lineup for the first semi-final, mouth-watering as Tony Rickardsson watches on. Antonio Lindback off the inside. What a story it's been for him, the wild card, but he's got bike problems here, Kelvin.
Oh, that's drama there at the extreme, just when he's getting to the crucial stage of the match and his bike's packed up on the start line. Looks like he's got it running now. He's bump-started it going away from the start. Still got problems though.
It's panic stations.
I'll tell you what, I just wonder whether they've turned the fuel on. They've got the spare bike going out to meet him. Tony Rickardsson there, you can see the concern, and it's at 15 seconds, that's tight. I reckon they hadn't turned the fuel on. His adrenaline's going to be pumping now.
That's for sure. First semi-final it is then. Who will go through to the final? Crump makes a good start off gate number 3. Lindback's in contention as well as Crump goes square. And look at Lindback just a few moments ago. He was panicking about his bike. Now he's got the lead. Crump is second with Andreas Jonsson in the blue.
Oh, look at Jonsson. Jonsson up the inside. Fabulous move from him. Crump there just drifted wide, and Jonsson fired himself in the second spot. Crump's made another mistake. He's found himself at the back. That's big disappointment for the World Championship leader. But Lindback showing terrific composure. Out front, chased hard. The 3 Swedes. Can Lindgren do anything about that in 3rd place?
Lindback has that lead, and this is a true fairy tale. Lindgren in 3rd place.
Oh, he's off! He's off! Oh, that's drama. He looked like he was there. He's been riding the ruts all night round the inside there. Got far too much drive coming off turn 2, and literally the bike launched him off the back. And he crashed down there. The wind's going to be blown out of him there for sure. Just watch this. It gets too much grip and then all of a sudden just has to bail off the back of the bike. Bash! No air fence down the straight. That's hard wood there. That will have knocked the wind out of him. Got to hope that he's okay. But I tell you what, it's a second chance for Jason Crump here. He was out the back, he was gone. Yeah, no surprise there. Lindgren excluded.
Thankfully, he's up and about and taking the easy way back to the pits. It's been a good night for Lindgren, but Crump can sense a second opportunity here.
Wow.
Lindback has to do it all again. Can he do it again? Lindgren's night is over, but the most important thing is he's okay. He's up and about after his coming together with the back straight fence. Lindback off the inside, Jonsson off 2, and Crump off gate 3.
Wow, this is drama here because Jason Crump was dead and buried there in that initial staging of the semi-final. And a man of his experience, he's got to come good. This is a second chance here for the championship leader. And all of a sudden, he's got the pressures on, but Lindback, can he do it again?
Well, a real test of nerve for Antonio Lindback, and he's hit the front superbly. Crump goes square in that first turn as Jonsson holds the line for third at the moment. With the lead, though, with Antonio Lindback. And I'll tell you what, that is a true test of character. Not once, but twice has he hit the front.
Yeah, it's so often the case when you've hit the front and the red lights come on, you miss it second time around, but not this young man tonight. Absolutely focused on his job, and he controls the race out front. Super stuff from Crump in second place. He controls second place. You've got to feel for Jonsson because Jonsson was in a transfer spot in the initial staging, and Crump hangs on to second place.
Yeah, Jonsson in third place at the moment. It looks like his night could be over with just a point to be added to his total in the semi-final. But Antonio Lindback is heading through to the final surely now. He holds that line. Jason Crump is starting to make some ground on him. This will do for both riders, though. They'd be through to the final, and Crump's consistency continues here. Looks like he might have a problem with his chain guard on the bike.
Yeah, it's just hanging off the side of the bike, but he's going to get there. Lindback, what an effort from him. Followed home by Crump. It's going to get tight.
Very tight towards the end of the race. But Jason Crump has just about done enough. But what about that young man? Antonio Lindback, magnificent. He punches the air as Jonsson made one more late concerted effort to get through into second place. What a win for Lindback. Magnificent ride from him to head through to the final. Second place was Jason Crump. He's through to the final as well. Jonsson's night is over with that point to add to his total. Freddie Lindgren survived that awful crash.
Freddie, a big moment in the semi-final. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I didn't hurt myself, so that's lucky. But getting into the semi-finals, you know, that's my problem. I haven't been consistent, and this is the level I have to ride on every meeting, really, and push for that final as well.
Well, the Swedes are looking terrific, and you've got to say that they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the World Cup. The youngsters coming good for the Swedes. They're looking at a tidy side now.
Yep, with Lindback rejuvenated and Lindgren getting better every year, promising for Sweden. Now Nicky Pedersen goes off the inside in red then, in the second semi-final. Pierre off gate 2, the teen sensation Emil Sayfutdinov from Russia off gate 3, and Rune Holter going off the outside. Who will join Lindback and Crump into the final, the second semi-final? They're straining at the leash as they move away from the start. A very tight first turn, and Pedersen gets the drop, but he's gone square now, and coming around the outside in white is Sayfutdinov, and Holter as well.
Holter up the inside as well. Sayfutdinov now makes a huge mistake, goes far too wide. Pedersen up the inside, but look at that, remarkable from Sayfutdinov, how he recovered from that mistake. Holter charging hard in third place, putting plenty of pressure on Nicky Pedersen, but Sayfutdinov, fantastic out front.
Yeah, the story of Sayfutdinov just continues. He is the new kid on the track for sure. He is one to watch, not just tonight, not just the rest of this year, but for many, many years to come. He's carving up the opposition with a magnificent ride. We're focusing on Pedersen in red, under a little bit of pressure here from Holter in yellow, but Pedersen is looking comfortable, and it could be Sayfutdinov and Pedersen to go through to the final now.
And look at the speed of Sayfutdinov. He's just cleared off Nigel. Unbelievable. He's in front of the world champion. Fantastic speed showed by the young Russian.
Yes, very quick indeed on the Ashley Holloway tuned engine. Emil Sayfutdinov and Nicky Pedersen go through to the final, where they will will come up against Lindback and Crump. What a final it promises to be, with the young guns side-footed off the 19-year-old, taking the checkered flag. The reigning champion, Nicky Pedersen, he's through to the final. Halter goes home after being eliminated in the semi alongside Kenneth Pierre. But the final is a mouth-watering prospect now.
Wow, this is fantastic stuff once again from Seifutinov. He's under a lot of pressure here earlier on from Nicky Pedersen. They clash as they hit the first turn, and Seifutinov bounces off the world champion. But look at the speed he showed once again to power down the back straight and hit the front. Pedersen off the inside tries to push Seifutinov wide. He gets a bit out of shape himself through those ruts on the inside. Really, Halter then sticks his nose up the inside. It's so competitive down that back straight on the opening lap. Seifutinov settles in front and he clears off. Pedersen has to slam the door shut on Rudi Halter early on. But Emil Seifutinov, absolutely sensational tonight moving into the final.
4 wins from 6 outings so far. What a story it is. And here's the story of the gate positions.
Well, how about that for a turnaround? Gate 3 in white there. So poor early on in the meeting has come very good late on.
So Lindback, first choice, goes inside. Seifutinov goes off 3. Pedersen goes from 2 and Crump off the outside. What a mouth-watering prospect it is, the final. Tony Rickardsson looking out for his man Antonio Lindback. And we can't praise Lindback enough for his rejuvenation, if you like. He is a comeback king, Antonio Lindback. He's off the inside in red. Nicky Pedersen, the reigning champion, off 2 in blue. The 19-year-old Emil Seifutinov off 3. And double world champion and series leader, Jason Crump off the outside.
Yeah, well, Crump rode his luck there in the second staging of his semi-final, managed to grab the second spot and finds himself in the final. But what a lineup we've got here.
Magnificent lineup it is, and away they go. And Pedersen is looking good in the first turn. Oh, lost his shape there. And Lindback comes through now. Watch out for Crump. Here's Pedersen again. Nicky Pedersen has the lead now. Lindback is second. Everybody's in contention. Seifutinov will come back for more. And what about Pedersen and Lindback going wheel to wheel now?
Fantastic opening lap of Speedway there. Lindback now in front. Pedersen now settles in second place. Superb stuff from him, Crump out the back. Here comes Pedersen down the inside, forcing Lindback wide. That leaves the door wide open for Seifutinov. Seifutinov now hits the front. Oh, drama.
Crump has to put the bike down. Seifutinov hits the fence. And the referee has got a decision to make here now. Drama in the final.
Wow.
Seifutinov is down.
That's a big decision for the referee there, because Pedersen had got up the inside and it looked to me that he was clearly by Seifutinov, and it just clips the dirt deflector. Oh, that's really hard call. What a reaction from Jason Crump to put the bike down immediately. Tell you what, Nicky Pedersen is clearly by there, and I feel that Seifutinov needed to give ground. It's going to be a big decision here.
Well, I think Emil Seifutinov owes Jason Crump a huge vote of thanks. Look at the way he lays the bike down there to avoid a catastrophe. And the decision is that Nicky Pedersen is excluded.
Am I excluded? Oh, he can't believe it. He cannot believe it. I tell you what, there's going to be fireworks now.
Oh, what a shot from Nicky Pedersen. That was astonishing. Cristiano Ronaldo would have loved that type of connection.
Eat your heart out, Cristiano Ronaldo, because I tell you what, Seifutinov, I feel, has been lucky there. He was wary of the situation. And Jason Crump looking a bit second-hand as well.
Nicky Pedersen, a very frustrated man.
I mean, we see it again, you know. I had sort of 3 incidents this year, you know, with the referees. They see a different thing than anybody else see on the TV, and the whole stadium see it.
How did you see that last lap? How did you see that incident develop?
Well, it's easy to see. You just see it in the replay. I mean, he's even trying to turn left on me. And I know I have to be gentle with the young guys because they're on the gas and they fall off it easy. But I had passed him already. He could at least try to get into the turns. But he was too smart just to drop it straight away, you know. And the referees need to be smarter than that. I mean, I'm racing for the World Championship, but obviously, you know, I can't win it then when things like that happen. But they can't take my 3 championships away, so that's good.
So 3 riders only for the restart then. What a meeting we've had tonight. Who said Speedway is all out of the start and decided in the first turn? Forget that. Lindback inside, no rider gate 2. Seifutinov off 3 and Crump off the outside.
Well, can Lindback do it again from the inside? Seifutinov had hit the front in the initial staging. Here we go.
Grand final. Who inside and hits that first turn. What a ride from Jason Crump. Lindback is second, Saifuginov is third, and Crump leading the way and showing all his knowledge and experience, but he knows that he has got two tigers on his tail.
He has indeed, but what a fantastic start from the outside from Jason Crump. Superb action going on for second place, but he's grabbed the opportunity. Saifuginov up the inside, gets himself into second spot, once again showing terrific pace. Crump's going to have to really work hard now.
He certainly is. Emil Saifuginov all over him, and can the 19-year-old get the drive up the inside? Crump has closed the door superbly, and what a race we've got in our hands here in the final of the Swedish Grand Prix. Watch out for Saifuginov!
Oh, what a move from Saifuginov up the inside. Crump just drifted off the line, and Saifuginov, the youth, there round the inside, fired himself to the front. Got a feel for Lindback, he's back in third place. He was so desperate to win it. But the teenage sensation, Saifuginov, can he win 2 out of 3?
Saifuginov has won 2 GPs in the opening 3 rounds. What a story it is here at the Ullevi Stadium. And once he took that lead, he blew the opposition away. He's not just a star of the future, he's a star here and now. Saifuginov, the race winner then. Second place in the final goes to Jason Crump. Third place there went to Antonio Lindback. Shouldn't forget what a magnificent night he's had. Nicky Pedersen controversially disqualified.
Well, what a final we had here. This was sensational stuff. Initially, Jason Crump took the second chance with both hands, made a sensational start off the outside and dictated things for about 2.5 laps, and it looked like Jason was going to steal a victory here. But the young Russian had other ideas, initially getting himself up the inside of Lindback into second place. And Jason Crump just ran out of room here. He just drifted off the inside, and that allowed Saifuginov through and into the lead, and his bike's been working so well all night. Once he'd hit the front, Crump had no answers. A fabulous effort here from the young Russian. He moves into second place in the World Championship. He's becoming a major threat.
Celebration time for Emil Saifuginov.
Antonio Lindback, 17 points on the night. You've really put yourself back in the World Championship shop window with a great performance.
Yeah, it was good. A bit disappointed in the last one, but it's nice to be up on the podium, you know, and come back here and race, you know. Emil and Jason is good guys, so I'm just pleased.
Jason Crump, 52 points, still leading the World Championship. Very close tonight, but, you know, a great result.
Mate, it was a rugged old night. The track was really hard to ride. Got a bit of luck with a restart in the final, and a restart in the semi, but you know, it was a very tough night, and I'm very happy to come away in the lead still.
Emil, your second win of the year. You look a very happy man.
It was hard tonight. I would like say like my tuner, my mechanic, my sponsors, of course my girlfriend Aisha is my father. I'm now a believer.
Well, what a night that was. 13 of the 16 Grand Prix competitors won a race in the Ullevi Stadium, but it's Jason Crump who still remains the series leader on 52. Saifuginov, with those 2 GP wins to his name, is second on 46. Jonsson third. Lee Adams slipping out of the top 8, currently in 9th place, and that will be a worrying sign for him. Celebration time for Saifuginov. Will there be more of the same from the talented teenager in the Parken Stadium, Copenhagen, in round 4 of the World Championship?